Hey everybody, it's Stacey with PageantryNOW. I'm super excited about today's show. We are going to do a day with the doctors. We're going to have 3 of the Dr. Will Productions doctors on, and they're going to talk about what it's like to be a doctor, because I know I want to know that. So bring your questions, bring your friends, stay with us right here on PageantryNOW. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. So excited for today's episode. I have some of my sister queens on, and we're going to talk all about what it is to be a doctor today, and actually a doctor any day. So for those of you that are joining us today, thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. Hey, Ralph, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Please, so that you know, make comments, bring your friends, ask questions. We want that to be able to happen. Just make sure you keep everything absolutely G today, because we do have littles in the house, literally in the house. So just be aware. PageantryNOW is all about positivity and pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things that title holders do using a crown and a sash. And you don't often get to see those moments. And honestly, today's show is really about women that are changing the world. So without any ado, here we go. Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. All right, we're going to start with the lovely Dr. Michelle. So, Michelle, would you do me a favor? Introduce yourself. Tell us your title, all of your titles, because you have more than one. So,
I have 2. So, I'm Dr. Michelle Lynam. I'm an anesthesiologist, and I am new to pageantry. I was Dr. Virginia 2020, and now I'm Dr. United States of America 2021, a title I'm very proud of and I'm putting to good use. And I love teaching and I love my job. And it's been a few years since medical school, but I love taking care of all types of patients and having a little bit of fun with a little extra sparkle of pageantry involved.
It's awesome. All right. Okay. I'm going to go to Sequita because Hailey's got her hands full. So, hey, Sequita, unmute yourself, say hi, tell us your name and your titles, because you have doctor and then you also have doctor. So,
okay. Super glad to be here. I am Dr. Sequita Richardson. I am a family practice physician. I practice in Grandview, Missouri, which is just outside of Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm super happy to be Dr. Missouri USA 2021. Came through to pageantry kind of via my children who are very active in pageants. So this is my first one. I'm already loving my sister queens, and it's been such a great experience so far. And looking forward to learning more about what I can do with my sash and maybe crown, and happy to change the world with these ladies.
Awesome. And then we have Dr. California. Hello.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. So I am Dr. Hailey Nelson. I am a complex care pediatrician. So I specialize in taking care of children who have multiple medical issues. I also teach residents. So I have my pediatric residents who work with me and get to experience the joys of my job and really learning how to take care of children who have multiple kind of obstacles stacked up against them, but we make it fun along the way. Yep. And I'm a mom. So, hey, real life, this is a day in the life of a doctor. Here we go. My toddler is here with me doing this interview, and her shirt just got stuck to mine. I'll just hug you for a second. Okay. So I'm excited to talk about being a doctor mom, and joined pageantry to help make a bigger difference, because this really allows me to step outside of the exam room and reach more people with my platform and my message of stay safe and be well. And it, like Dr. Michelle said, I mean, it really lets us add an extra sparkle. So I'm super happy to be here today.
Yay. We will also, I will also add that Hailey's on call. So if her beeper goes off, she's got to go take care of that. So this is really what happens. Oh, look, we've got people. Pamela says, Dr. Hailey Nelson, you are fabulous.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Grandma. Love you guys.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for being here. So, and if anybody wants, like I said, ask questions, make comments, we do appreciate it. Just make sure you keep it G. I won't put it up because we've got, a 2-year-old in the house. So, all right. So I am super excited to be able to do this. This isn't going to be one of our typical interviews because I really want to get to know what a typical day is like without, since each one of you have different specialties, each one of you have different different types of patients. Some of you have patients that you see from, I know Sequita, we can talk a little bit about yours, and then Hailey, we can talk a little about yours, and then I know with Michelle, like you have, as an anesthesiologist, you literally see patients minutes before they have surgery. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and so before we do that, I just want to know what your platform is. I know that Hailey, you already mentioned yours a little bit, but Michelle, can you tell me a little bit about what your goals are as Dr. USA?
So I really want to encourage our youth to enter STEM fields. I think children are our future. And I think I'm a big science nerd, and I think a lot of the world's problems can be solved with science. And so I really want a lot of our children, especially young girls, to go into science fields. And so I try to encourage them that they can have it all with a little bit of hard work, and they don't have to compromise. They don't have to fit into a stereotype. They can be a little sparkly and then hit the books and be nerdy as well. I also am a big fan of just educating the public. I try to do a lot of reading and journal articles and dissect the current information that's out there and share that with anybody who wants to listen to me. And so
that's good. That's changing the world. We love information, and we love, I don't want to say real information, but the reality is there is science and there is specific information, and we want that out there. I mean, we want people to be educated, and that's super important. And that is part of your jobs as well. So I think that is one of, the things that we can talk about a little bit later, but I think that's wonderful. I love your platform. And I think, I think Sequita, you had shared the other day that only 34% of women are doctors.
Correct. Yeah. 34% of total physicians, all the physicians are women.
Yeah. Is that in the world or in the United States?
That is in the United States, I believe that statistic was. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, let me go look. Okay. So
yeah, I can't remember. I think it was United States though.
Okay. I would think, because it's a fairly higher number than what I thought. So yeah. I would think it's probably United States, but we'll have to do the checking. We'll have to do the fact finding on that.
I'll do the fact check.
Yeah. There you go. So tell me about your platform and why you chose it.
Okay. So I don't know if you out there have seen like the show Blackish or Grownish, but my platform is called Selfish. Ooh. And I'm talking about being selfish, serving effectively to live fiercely. And so, basically, all of us on this interview now, and so many of us are so extremely busy, and we pour out ourselves to everyone doing different ministries, doing our jobs. And sometimes we put so much out there, we don't really take care of ourselves. And so basically what I want to encourage people to do is to learn ways throughout the day or throughout the week to take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't effectively be there for other people.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And you remind me very gently by sending me messages that I need to make sure that I take care of myself, which I do not always do the correct self-care. So I appreciate the messages. So thank you very much. But I think that probably ties into being a family physician as well, because you really do take care of, people throughout all parts of their life. So right. We'll talk a little bit about that too. All right. So Hailey, I know that you spoke a little bit about Safe Kids, and I want to just have you have a moment to just tell a little bit more about what you're doing with Safe Kids, please.
So Safe Kids Central California is a coalition that combines a bunch of different agencies who all have a mission of keeping kids safe. I have expanded my platform to really my tagline of stay safe and be well, which allows me to not only cover all of the important safety messages that we need to get out there and provide the education for, but that wellness piece is so important, especially in light of the pandemic. So it allows me to kind of dabble in a bunch of different things. When it comes to Safe Kids, though, we've reached out and we're doing these Facebook Live episodes and trying to get information to families about car seats and safe sleep and firework safety. Like, you name it, there's a safety topic that I'm going to cover, and I'm going to interview our different local friends and now reaching out to kind of friends across the country to be able to get those messages out there to the families that need to hear them.
Awesome. Okay, y'all are gonna have to explain to me why all of a sudden I am going through like emotions that I've never had. I've been in menopause for 11 years, so I don't know. Is there something that happens after you're post-menopausal for a while that you all of a sudden get emotions? You can tell me about that later. Okay, because I saw this comment from Ralph, and he says, "Thank you so much for all you do as healthcare workers, and you have my deepest gratitude and my respect." And I saw that and I thought to myself, yes, absolutely. These women need to be praised for everything that they're doing, everything, being on the front line, because every single one of you is on the front line in a very different way. And that is, I think, the most remarkable grace of servitude that anybody could possibly give. So thank you so much for what you do. There are no words that I can express to tell you how much and how grateful I am for everything that you do. Which kind of takes me to the next section. So you have 1 minute to tell me what you do. All right. You ready? I won't time you, but you've got 1 minute. All right. So Michelle, do you think you can do it in a minute?
Probably not.
No? Okay. All right.
This
so
is-
1.5 minutes tops, but this is good. So I think you can do it. So
you mean at work, right? At work,
what you do at work, and what you do at work, and then we'll talk about what your day is like. So that'll be a separate. We'll go through all three of you as what you do, a little bit more in depth, and then we'll do what your day is like. So Michelle, you ready? Tell us all about what you do.
I'm a board certified anesthesiologist, which means after college and med school, I did a 4-year residency in anesthesiology, and I am in charge of evaluating patients and monitoring them and taking care of them after surgery so that they can stay safe. So my job involves a little bit of pharmacology and lots of verbal anesthesia. So I have a good bedside manner to put people at ease. And sometimes I do procedures like epidurals and nerve blocks to also decrease any kind of pain from surgery. But I meet my patients usually that day and discharge them from the recovery room. And next day, get a new set of patients. So it's a little bit different than what my primary care friends get to do.
All right. So I have a weird question for you. I don't know if it's true or not. Being a redhead, you are a redhead as well. Is it really true that it is harder to anesthetize redheads?
Yes. So there is some research out there that the mutation that causes red hair is near the mutation or near the one of the pain NMDA receptors. So there is some association with redheads need a little bit more anesthesia. And most surgeons will tell you redheads bleed. So they bleed a little bit more briskly. So it's a common little thing amongst anesthesia providers. Like, is that your real hair color? And it's a silly question, but we want to know.
Yeah, no, and I get it all the time. And I was like, yes. And I will tell you, I am very hard to anesthetize. Like I had my pacemaker replaced a year ago, and it took about 2 hours because it was stuck. And I was awake the whole time. They kept saying, "Give her more Versed," and I'm like, "Not gonna work. I'm awake. It's good."
I think it's your big personality, though, not the red hair.
Could be that, but I mean, I do have red hair. So, anyways, I just wasn't sure if it was really true or not. So now I know. All right,
We're
so
not trying to be personal to call your hairstylist up, but
yeah. I know. So I don't let go easy. So they go, oh, see, Diana says the same thing. She's a redhead as well. So yeah, wait, how do we have that many redheads in one system? That just seems kind of. For those of you who don't know, Diana Lawrence is our director, but all the redheads come together. There we go. Yay! Okay. All right. Hailey's like, yes. All right. Sequita, so tell me a little bit about what you do in your specialty.
Okay, great. So one of the things you mentioned was tell us about your typical day. And one of the reasons I went into family practice is because there really is no typical day. And I really was like, I kind of like to do a little bit of everything. And so that's really what I do throughout the day. I think right now, my youngest baby is probably about 4 months old. And I think my oldest patient right now is 90. And
Wow.
the oldest patient I ever took care of was 106. Through residency, I did do OB. So one of the things I love best about medicine is delivering babies, but they just never seem to come between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday. So I couldn't put that into my practice. But maybe someday, just as a mom, when I was, when my kids were little, I was like, oh, I can't have that kind of schedule. But there's so much that you can do as a family physician, preventative medicine, taking care of the basic things, taking care of people after they've had surgery, knowing when you need to send a child to Dr. Hailey. So the breadth and the scope is so large. There certainly is never a boring day.
That's awesome. And I know I heard you say at one point in another interview, really from birth to death is really what your specialty is.
Right. We say cradle to grave all the time. Cradle to grave.
Oh my gosh. There you go.
I've delivered children, and then I was their doctor right there when they were 1 minute old.
Wow.
So I was sewing up their mom, so.
Awesome. All right. So, and then in the event that someone does not want that, we have Hailey. Hailey's like, hey, that's me.
I'm here with a toddler. I apologize, but this is real life. So pediatricians, we take care of children from really, so after they are born. So the family practice or the OB can hand them over to the pediatrician, and we care from them from 0 up to age 21. So I specialize in childhood. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I do complex care. So I'm a primary care doctor. So I see children for all of their checkups. I see them when they are sick. They get their vaccines from me. We talk about all sorts of things. And I especially love my field because it is unique to do the complex care and really tackle some of the children who don't read the textbooks. My kids do the opposite sometimes of what you will read in the pediatric textbooks. So no day is the same. I'm always on my toes. And just when I think, we're going to turn left, we turn right sort of thing. So I'm constantly navigating just everything with our families. And I absolutely love what I do.
Best pediatrician ever from Amanda. Hi, Amanda. And her daughters are 2 of our princesses. So we are super excited. For those of you that have not heard, we now have a princess program. So if your daughter or son, we're talking about a prince program too. If your daughter or son would like to be part of our program, it is not competition. It is just actually becoming a prince or princess. We will be doing different activities quarterly so that we can do either STEM or do some type of organized activity so that children can feel like they're getting better prepped to go into the world. And we're really excited about being role models for all of those children. And we're going to come up with some really creative ideas and ways to be able to do things virtually so that all of our princes and princesses can join us online like this all over the world. So go to the website, Dr. World Productions, so that you can see that. I know that, and thank you so much, Amanda, for being here. Tell the girls hi. Hi, Tessa. Hi, Nora. So let's talk a little bit about the day in a life. Like, what is your typical day? And the other thing to bring into this too, we can talk about that after your typical work day. Let's talk about your typical life at home. So since all of you are moms, I think that bears being explained as well. So the first question, and then you can keep thinking about the second question because we'll come back around and ask the second question. So first question is, what is your typical day at work like? So Michelle, can you tell us about your typical day?
So I wake up around 4:45, get myself just prepared for the day, and get dressed and uh, get some caffeine in. And then I have a short drive to my beautiful hospital, and I find out what my assignment is that very day. So it could mean I'm going to be assigned to labor and delivery. And so if I go over to labor and delivery, and I know most of you know that's my favorite place, like Sequita, it's such a magical place to be. And I check the board. I see how many patients are there that day, how many are in active labor. I talk to the nurses and see if there's any potentials for any just really ultra emergencies that day. I see if there's often a 7:30 C-section. So I'll go say hi to her. I love pulling up old anesthesia records and see who took care of you last time. What did they give you? Did it work for you? Can we tweak it this time? And then that first case will roll into the operating room at 7:30. We do like 99.9% of our C-sections under spinal anesthesia. So I place that in the operating room, and then I support their vital signs and monitor everything. And then they get to have their baby. The baby comes out quite quickly. And oftentimes I start crying, especially if the dad starts crying. I love photography, so I sneak in lots of pictures. It's usually a little bit of anesthesia is kind of like flying a plane. You get the plane up in the air and you cruise, and then landing is where you have to really pay attention. So in the middle of the C-section, I often have to just help take pictures. If I'm assigned to a general anesthesia room, I will go in there and I'll check my anesthesia machine, make sure all the monitors are working and the anesthesia gas is filled up. And then I go into my drawer and I put all the drugs. We mostly use about 4 or 5 drugs every day, so we become very familiar with them. And then I'll meet my OR team and find out who the surgeon is. Then I'll go out to the pre-op area and I'll meet my patient. Again, I'm really big on empowering my patients with information. So I find out everything I can about them. And if they have, a history with anesthesia, we spend a lot of time talking about that. And I always like to know a little bit about my patient. And I just love people. I love talking to people before I have to sedate them. But it has another purpose that I find that if I get people talking about themselves, they relax. I like to talk about what they want to eat because it gets their stomach settled. So I think there's a lot of bedside manner that can really help with making your pharmaceuticals work better. The other thing that I might do is be in a supervising role where I'll have about 4 nurse anesthetists, and they may be covering different locations. So if that's my job, I'm not in the operating room and actually like bringing the patient back and putting them to sleep and one-on-one with the patient. If I'm in a supervising role, I might have 4 different locations that I'm covering. One might be labor and delivery as a team model with the nurse anesthetist. And then they may be in other rooms as well. So those days I'm doing a lot more talking. I'm doing a lot more pre-ops, and I go back with each nurse anesthetist as they induce, and I come in if they have any questions or if they just need an extra pair of hands. And then when it's over, the patient goes to the recovery room, and we monitor them, make sure that they're warm and their pain's well controlled. They are usually going to go to the floor, they get to go home, so I make sure that they're in a proper state physically that they can do that.
Awesome. Wow. Gosh, who would have thought that all of that happened when, I having been with, under anesthesiology very many times. I know how complex it is, but I don't think about it because I'm always, kind of groggy when I come out of it anyways, if it's done well. But, you don't think about all of those different steps that go through it. And I think that's pretty cool. So, all right, Sequita, tell me all about what your day is like typically.
Okay, yeah. Wake up pretty early like Michelle. I don't do that 4 o'clock stuff anymore. More like 5:30. And just depends on what is going on that day. Sometimes I need to get up and review some charts or finish some charts from the day before, review lab that might have come in overnight. And those things I'm fortunately able to do at home because of electronic medical record. That's probably the only good thing I'll say about electronic medical records. Um, and get up, go on to work. My job is outpatient at clinic, actually. I live about 15 minutes from my job, and just review the schedule for the day. Like I said earlier, I have a variety of patients throughout the day, men, women, well examinations, ill visits. Usually I'll see about maybe 14, 15 people in the morning. When I have a break around 1 o'clock or so, I'll start to review like phone calls that have come in the morning for refills or people who are like, I need to really get in. With the pandemic, we've started doing telemedicine visits. So people might call and say, hey, I have a fever. I don't know what to do. So I'm doing a lot more telemedicine now, telephone calls. Sometimes at the end of my day, I'll have people come in and we'll actually see them out in their car to do a COVID swab, a rapid COVID screen, and then advise them of what to do at that time. So the day is very busy, no typical day. Lots of different patients. Some are quite well. Some are unfortunately very ill, particularly right now during the pandemic, seeing a lot of ill people. But, it's great to see people get better. It's great to see people who are diabetic and their blood sugars are where they need to be, or somebody comes in and they're like, hey, I worked out 4 times a week. It's great to celebrate with folks. Some folks are just really nice to me and they'll bring me some fruit or vegetables. Somebody brought me a plant yesterday. So really love the relationships, love to get to know people. I have, families that I see 3 or 4 generations of their family. So that's the stuff that keeps me going.
That is so cool. That is awesome. I honestly, you guys have these. I feel very underdeveloped at this point. Oh my gosh. Okay.
No.
Great. All right. So, and then Hailey, tell us about your typical day.
My typical day. So I am also outpatient pediatrics, which means Charlie Mitchell Clinic, where I work at Valley Children's Hospital. We're open from 8 to 5. So I think that's where families kind of expect me to be. And that's where I'm at. And having heard from the other doctors, my day does start earlier than that. With doing resident education, there's morning reports. Thankfully, with the pandemic, that is available by Zoom. So sometimes I can do that at home, or even I will listen in while I'm driving in. But there's pre-work that happens before I start seeing that 8 a.m. patient and then roll through the day. As Dr. Sequita mentioned, telemedicine has now become a bigger part of my day. So I am seeing well children, I'm seeing sick patients in the office and wearing PPE, but then I spend a lot of time now at my computer and doing calls and getting invited into families' homes and providing care that way, because it's safer for them and it's also safer for me. And so there's a lot of variety in what happens just kind of between the 8 and 5. And then there's also the charts and phone calls and messages and the lovely EMR. So our electronic medical records, and spending a lot of time on a computer or filling out paperwork for patients. That kind of happens during my day, and then also kind of the before and after piece as well. Stacey, you're on mute.
I was getting background sound. I know that one of the challenges, I mean, it's not a challenge, it's part of your job, but having spoken to each of you personally, that it's hard to juggle all of this and chart and work out and be a mom and go to this place and go to that place. How do you balance all of that all out? Because all 3 of you have children. So how, and honestly, Sequita, I should probably start with you on this one because your platform is self-care. How do you do it all? Because you are all doing it all. So Sequita, please give us your sage advice.
Okay. One is have your kids hurry up and grow up.
No.
No, my children are out of the house now, so it's very different than what the other two doctors are going through. Yeah, life is, I'll say, easier. I mean, you're going to always be a mom, but you don't have to have that child and get them to school and fix lunches and all that stuff. That was really woo. Yeah, so I'm kind of on the downside of that part. And one of the reasons why I picked this platform is because I have found in my life that I learn better when I teach, and I really need to do this for myself. So I'm probably a little hypocritical because I don't take the best care of myself, and I am trying to do that as I try to teach others to do it. Because I'm just going to be really transparent. The pandemic has been really mentally draining on me. And at some point, I was just, going to work, coming home, eating dinner, and vegging, and like wondering how am I going to make it through the next day. And so now I'm kind of like, what can I do to promote my mental health? Make sure that I'm moving, put a little bit more effort into my meal prep to make sure I'm eating healthier. Am I reading? Am I journaling? Those kind of things that I know that I struggle with. I found that what I struggle with, I'm usually not alone. Other people are struggling with it too. So I really want this to be a journey for all of us to go through together, because all of us, doesn't matter what your profession is, we've been through a lot these last 2 years. Yeah. And even if you've sat in the house the whole time, it's still mentally draining. Right. And so we've got to figure out how we're going to still become our best selves.
Awesome. I agree with you wholeheartedly. In fact, one of my posts yesterday was how I work out at home, because, and I had taken a break for a while because I wasn't doing good self-care. And I tell you what, today I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need some Aleve. Because I did weights yesterday. I was like, hold on. My husband goes, that's what that thing is. Was that fun for you? I was like, yes, actually it was. But it's true. Like, and how do you balance all of this out? And I know, like, for Michelle and for Hailey, your children are younger. So how are you keeping them safe too? Because this isn't just, and we can talk a little bit more about just the effects of what's happening over the last 2 years and what we're going through. So Michelle, tell us what it's like being a mom in the middle of being a doctor, and having a personal life. Like, do you have a personal life?
So I am very fortunate that my husband is also a physician. He's a surgeon. And so from the day I graduated, we made a decision as a family that I would work part-time. So I do have a lot of more flexibility than my coworkers. So I can do things like pageantry and be a volunteer and spend a little bit more time with my children. I have 3 daughters. I have a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. And then I think she's coming into the room, my little rainbow baby.
I was like, she's going to come up any second.
She's our newest Dr. World Productions princess.
Hello, princess. I see your forehead.
So my journey with her is, the reason why there is a 10-year gap is that we struggled with secondary infertility. So for a good 5 years, I was having infertility and procedures, and that was probably the hardest thing in my life in terms of time, because it was just weekly, bi-weekly doctor's visits and shots. And so like now that I'm out of that phase, I feel like I have a lot more free time. And with the pandemic, I always try to look at the silver lining of things. And I feel like there have been things that I've changed in my life that have given me a little more free time. So I actually gave up my gym, which I was a gym addict, and I exercise at home. And I find that like that doesn't now take up half of my day. I can just flip on a video, and I like to oftentimes screen record it because it keeps me honest. If I don't have that camera on, I'm like, going to get a drink and someone's calling me from the kitchen. So I feel like that keeps me honest. So I also have my amazing now 84-year-old mother who immigrated here from the Czech Republic, and she lives with us most of the time. And so she's really helping. But I do have one going to one high school, another one going to another high school, and then my youngest going to in-person school for the first time. Cross my fingers. She gets to stay on quarantine. And so
how old is Valentina?
She's 7.
Oh, look at that. Look at the princess.
And she loves the limelight, obviously. But I feel like the pandemic, with like the telemedicine, like that has made my life so much easier. And we just try to coordinate with my husband and his schedule and what days I can work and what days I have 2 non-drivers. So that
way it goes over your head, Valentina.
The non-drivers take up a little more time getting them places. But with Valentina now going in-person school, it's a little bit easier because we were kind of doing virtual kindergarten. So it's been hard. And Sequita, I absolutely love your platform because I have just had so much, anxiety from the start of this pandemic and protecting myself and protecting my family. Like I said, my mom's 84 and I would do anything to protect her. In the beginning, we just didn't know anything. And, we didn't have like the gear to protect ourselves and any of the knowledge, what to do to protect our families at home. But so I don't wish this thing to grow up. I'm savoring every moment.
Yes, it's savor for sure. Savor.
Look at that.
Sequita, both of your daughters compete in pageants or
yes, they both do. Yes.
And so we were I don't know if Hailey, we didn't talk about this, but I know that for Michelle and I, we were like, which pageants?
Okay, so Victoria is my older daughter. She is 23 years old. She just graduated from Oklahoma State University as an industrial engineer. Super excited about that.
STEM again.
In Atlanta. She hasn't competed for maybe about 4 years. Her last title was Miss Oklahoma Teen for National American Miss. And she did fabulous, went to nationals, and she was in top 10, and she got like top best academic achievement in the whole country.
What year?
What year? Don't ask me that. 17, 18?
I judged her.
Oh, you judged her? Wow.
Oh my gosh. The whole world. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
You were at nationals?
Yeah.
Wow. So she was in top 10. Do you think you kind of remember?
No, honestly.
I'm gonna show you a picture. I bet you might.
Pictures because I do pictures. I don't do names. Ralph says we gotta go. Wonderful, blessed weekend. See you next time. Thanks so much, Ralph. And then Diana says congratulations on your daughter's graduation.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That was her most recent one, and before that, she done NAM several years. She done Dream Girls and USA Miss and lots of other ones.
Cool.
And then my daughter, who is currently 19 and attends Wichita State University, is the current Miss Kansas Teen National American Miss and is on her way to nationals in November. So she loves NAM. She just competed for USA.
I love NAM.
Michelle got to judge NAM because they needed me to judge, and I'm still social distancing. So Michelle got to judge NAM Florida, and then I may be at NAM National.
Oh, really? Yeah. So, and actually, Victoria is trying to get to. Since we're going as a family, that week is fabulous, and our
oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
So she's trying to get in so she can do National All-American. So she's going to do her photo. They're doing some kind of photo so you can enter in All-American. So I might have 2 girls competing at nationals this year, which I've done before. It's crazy, but they're bigger now. So
Yeah, no, wow. Okay. All right. So Hailey, I know that we saved you for last. Clear. I wasn't sure if Daphne was still being active, and who cares if she is, but I mean, I don't mean that like that. I love the fact she pops in and out. So let's talk about how you balance this doctor thing with this life thing, because that's kind of hard.
It is so hard to do both. And I gotta say, some days being a mom is harder than being a doctor. And I have a lot of love and support. My husband is a stay-at-home dad, so that is how our family makes this all work. And I could not do what I do without him. So thank you, Seth, for being there and letting me do all the things that I want to do and follow my dreams and helping raise our beautiful children. One of my life hacks and things I want to share is that I believe, so work-life balance, that implies that there's just this teeter-totter. And instead, if I can do some work-life integration, I can combine multiple buckets and check off more than one box at the same time. So that's kind of what I try to do to be more efficient, but also acknowledge all the things that we're already doing. So when it comes to self-care, maybe you and wellness, maybe you need some time in nature, but you also want to exercise and treat yourself. And so I'm oh, but if we go for a walk, we're going to get outside and get some fresh air, unless it's smoky right now because I'm in the Central Valley. But hey, maybe we'll do that. And then the other night, we walked down and we got snow cones. So we got treats at the end of it too. So what things can I combine? And I'm actually loving the fact that we're starting the Princess program and Prince, because my son wants to do things too. It's allowing me to combine pageantry, community service, and get my kids involved. So they're filming with Safe Kids. On Monday, we have a professional film crew coming out, meeting us at the lake. We're filming open water safety. We also did one with the film crew at a pool. So my children are now doing these videos with me and getting to be little ambassadors, and they can tell you all about safety messages that mom, recites all the time. So might as well bring them along. And then they have their own little platforms that they want to develop. So as a family, we're really looking forward to this next year of growth, not only for myself and what I want to do as your future Dr. America, but then for each of them, they have their own interests and passions, and I am excited to support them and grow them and see where they go.
You guys are the most massive overachievers. I think that is, I mean, honestly, and I say that in the nicest way, because because I just realized as we're talking about all of this stuff, and I went, and you want to be a pageant title holder. Where did that come from? Siri, I ask on the show always, why do you do this crazy thing called pageantry? But really, what inspired you to decide to do this? So Michelle, tell me what inspired you to compete in a pageant? You're on mute, by the way. There you go.
I have the dog under my feet, and my 7-year-old's trying to get the dog on camera, so I had to mute myself. But probably you guys, growing up in the 80s, I loved watching all the beautiful girls on stage, and never, just admired. I love fashion, admired everything. Never thought I had any of the potential. And my teens started modeling, and I'd be backstage with them at these fashion shows. And the first thing that happened, they were like, "Why isn't your makeup on?" I'm like, "I'm an old lady. I can't model." But so then I started doing it. So that's one thing that I like is, empower women of any age that they can be beautiful. And so we have a lot of girls who are in pageantry doing the local shows. And I always admired how beautiful they are and poised and put together and have these fantastic platforms. But again, thought, I can't sing, I can't dance, and I don't have that potential. And one of the girls who was in the Miss Virginia system told me literally a week or two before the deadline about the Dr. USA pageant. And I said, no, I can't. And then Dr. Lawrence, there we go. Dr. Lawrence kind of really encouraged me and guided me. Right. And, COVID had already started, and I kind of already had this platform where, in honor of my classmate that had passed away, I was doing my best to educate myself with information from around the world to try to keep our country safe.
Right.
And this is so bad. So
okay, is
I just
this
had to
real
give
life
up.
for you? Because don't be embarrassed. This is real life. This is what happens.
So I kind of already had this platform. See, like she put the dog on my lap now, and you know, and I thought, like, gosh, maybe if I had a little bit of rhinestone, a little bit of sparkle, I could get more people to listen to me, and I could save another life. Just if I save one life, that's enough. And I really wanted to encourage girls to enter STEM fields. And I was inspired by the Miss America, who was the previous Miss Virginia, Camille Schreier. And she got up on stage and she did a science experiment and she won. So like all these wheels are spinning in my head. And I was just like, why not? This is pretty awesome. So this has been like the absolute just happiest, brightest moment for me during the pandemic, if not my whole life. And I'm just so grateful to have had this in my life. And now, you know, I've got a little one following in my footsteps, and that also brings me a lot of joy. And so being able to combine science and fashion and fun and education on a side note, I also have the same earrings that Dr. Hailey has.
Oh, there we go.
And I know Stacy and I have a gown that is identical. We also have a necklace that's identical. But like, how wild is that? Amazon, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazon for everything.
I've seen a couple of people wear them. So now I gotta. Okay, they should be closed. It's been 6 weeks, so I think we probably let me wear like real girl like earrings.
Do you have to get your ears pierced?
I did it the day of my unboxing. I had one of my friends was giving me feedback about how in order to wear the crown, I had my hair back, and he said, you have got to put earrings on. And I'm like, I don't have holes anymore. They closed up in my teens because I keloid. And so he goes, oh, okay, never mind. I'm like, never mind. And I grabbed some Neosporin and I washed them off, and they just
popped them through.
I did use the Neosporin that has a little bit of lidocaine in it, but I just pushed them through, and I was like, oh my primary was like, Stacy, are you out of your mind?
Brush it with your heart. You don't want to put any bacteria in your bloodstream.
Oh, great, thanks. Now this.
Well, you're probably out of the window. I have an earring story. I guess was so focused on school my whole life that I never got my ears pierced. And also in the Czech Republic, they pierce infants in the hospital. Right. So when I was little, my mom was always like, didn't like the fact that choice was taken away from her. And she was kind of an athlete, a tomboy. So when I was little, she didn't really encourage me to get my ears pierced. So when I started modeling with my daughters, and people want to be able to, you know, show off their jewelry. So I literally got my husband, who pierces ears at his office, to pierce my ears, and now I've got like just, you know,
tons and tons. Yeah, mine have the little plastic tracers right now because my doctor made me take out everything and just put in the silicone ones so that it can heal up. But anyways, all right. So I just realized that essentially, like, all three of you are first timers doing this. I mean, I know, Michelle, you competed for USA, but it was your first time ever doing a pageant. So, like, Sequita, this has got, okay, tell me about why now?
Like, why now? I'm crazy, girl. I don't know. Just like, you know, your girls are there with you. My girls are in my heart, and they're like in every story. And I've just seen how pageantry made them so happy, helped them to shape the women that they are today, the glamorousness of it, and just the wanting to be a better person. And so right now it's kind of like a selfish thing for me. You know, my girls are out of my house. I'm trying to better myself, and it's just like, hey, I want to go up to the next level. I want a little bit of bling in my life and meet some more people, and maybe get a little spokesmodel in there, get my message out and all that, and just do something different. You know, it's time to do some different things, you know.
Sounds like some self-care is going on.
Self-care,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, Diana says, love these stories. You're all amazing. That's awesome. See, that's why we do this, is because, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, this is fun. I am going to bet that Hailey got beeped because I don't see her. Oh, wait, I see a shoulder. I see Hailey.
Hey, I'm coming back to my why now. So thinking about the timeline of kind of how 2021 has gone is kind of crazy, because if you would have met me at New Year's and told me over the summer, like, you're going to become this pageant queen and do all these things and be on TV, I would have laughed. Like, this is not where I started the year out at. I had done one podcast, I had done a couple of TV things, but again, not a lot. And I went to the American Academy of Pediatrics. They had a virtual conference that was about kind of social media and building that presence, because it was something that I wanted to do more and I was interested. And at that conference, they talked about reaching out to your PR team. So I was like texting them and being like, hey guys, I'm here. And then I hung up from that. I called our Safe Kids group. I knew they wanted to do outreach. And I just said, you know what, let's do it. I'm going to be your host. I'll give you 6 episodes. Let's get it up off the ground. Someone else I'll pass the baton, but let's actually, we just need to jump in and do it. And so, I was a few episodes into it when I saw Michelle on TV. So she did a COVID piece. She's standing there in her scrubs and her crown and her sash. And I was like, hold on, wait, I can add sparkle to this. So I got excited. And having seen Michelle, I then looked it up and I was like, oh, this is a thing. Wait, I can do this. And I actually called the Safe Kids people and I was like, hey, so I think I want to do this other thing because it's going to help me get our message out there. And I'm going to learn skills and grow. And I want to wear sparkly things and help you really. And they were all for it. And then I had a patient come in and see me who, kind of gave me that extra nudge too. So I appreciate that. It kind of all came at the right time, and now here I am loving pageantry. I have expanded my wardrobe, as Dr. Richardson said. My wardrobe for the last year and a half has been just pink scrubs, and now I've gotten to buy myself some dresses and get fancy, which is something new and special, and I'm enjoying that piece of it, and really just learning from pageantry to the effective communication. I want to do my job better, and if I can figure out, I feel like pageant queens really have it dialed in for learning that interview piece and being effective. And that's what I want to do. I want to really get our messages out there. And so I've been very deliberate in trying to learn how to do that soundbite, how to do the TV interviews. And it's taken off. I mean, I've done 18 episodes with Safe Kids. We've got professional crews. We have grant money. We're doing stuff. I do TV interviews. Thinking back to the whole day in a life question, last week I had a day where I was precepting residents. I got the call and did a TV interview down in Bakersfield, California. So it's an hour and a half away, but hey, with Zoom, you can really do anything. And then I saw some more patients and then called a reporter and did a newspaper interview, and managed to wrap up my day and didn't run behind. And that was a day in the life that I never would have dreamed that I would walk out of clinic one day and be like, oh yeah, I was on TV and did a newspaper thing and saw some patients. That's not who I previously was. But now that's what I'm doing, and I'm helping more people by getting those messages out there. So I love it.
And you're natural, Hailey.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? I just think your stories are, all 3 of your stories are so significant. And I started thinking about it, your specialties all interconnect in a very kind of special way, with Michelle doing anesthesiology and being able to be there for a C-section or for that moment of birth, and then to have Hailey be that doctor that can take over and be the pediatrician, and then Sequita, you can be the doctor for life. Each one of you kind of overlap in different ways, but I think that's magical, and what you're doing is magical. And I know that this year, and I don't want to bring it down, but I do really want to talk about this year, these 2 years, and how that really has changed everything, because I know each one of you really are really concerned about the people that you care for. So Michelle, I know I've seen Hailey come out of work, and she's been wearing the N95, and her face is all, dented. And I know that Michelle, like you are in the OR every day. So like how has all of this changed medicine for you, Michelle? And I don't want it to be long, like we've only got like about 6 minutes, but I do want to just at least say something about that. So
yeah, I mentioned a lot of it before. It's really been very emotional for me, and the fear, not knowing, anything about the virus initially, and my classmate passing away. She was an ER director and was, in the trenches, and got COVID herself, and it just unfortunately contributed to taking her life. But in the beginning, we didn't have enough masks, and we now do, and that's like just been a big thing. Being able to have a clean mask to wear for the day is just a huge plus. And then I have been motivated to participate in the vaccine trials. So that was a saving grace for me because I got vaccinated a year ago. So now I'm worried that I need a booster pretty quick. And I managed to get my 3 daughters, all of them in the vaccine trial. Got my mom vaccinated in December, and my husband got vaccinated. So that's taken a huge amount of mental anguish from me. So I'm very grateful for all the smart scientists who developed the vaccine to give me that extra layer of protection that I need so much and that our community needs. So
I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you share your information because it isn't, somebody just on Facebook giving information. You are a doctor. You have real statistical information. So I think that that's super important that we share that and we share it, as honestly and openly as we can. Sequita, how about with you? How have things changed, and how has this 2 years been for you?
It's been difficult. I've had several patients die in the last few weeks. So yeah, death is a part of life, but it's kind of like you don't want people to go if it could be prevented. So part of my self-care is trying to get over, dealing with that, and, people of all ages. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
It's okay. Emotions are okay. I've been in them all week, so I understand. So it's all right to feel that.
Yeah.
And I think people need to see that too, because we see news snippets and we don't see everything always being real. So go ahead and right. I hope you feel safe with us. So
yeah, I do. I just think that it's just been really frustrating trying to get the word out, and hopefully with pageantry, I can become more articulate and be able to communicate better and figure out ways to get that message out there that we just really want people to be safe and healthy. And that I want everybody to get through this.
Right. We can't get through it on our own. We really need to work together as a team. And I think that's been the biggest message for everybody is that, we aren't islands, and we really do need to have a moment where we're thinking about the greater good. So I think that that's a super big part of this as well. Hailey, I know you said just in the last week that your life has exponentially changed. So let's talk a little bit about that as well.
Oh my goodness. Definitely. We are seeing increasing numbers and just phone calls. I'm on call this weekend and have had more pages come in than what a typical weekend is. And that's, families who are worried about their kids. And I started off the pandemic worried too, and I still am. And so it's not only just about my health and the health of my children. As Michelle mentioned, we started off being worried about masks. Now we have vaccines. And so it's really that part of trying to be an effective communicator and explaining the heart that comes behind the message. Like I understand, I understand how these vaccines work, how safe they are, and trying to help families who are worried about their children. How do you keep your child healthy? Well, you do that by getting yourself vaccinated, because healthy kids. Daphne, hold on.
Hi,
Daphne wants her fingernails painted right now. Mommy wants to talk about COVID and how hard it is and how much I care, and just really want to be able to prevent illness. So like Dr. Richardson said, it's a prevention piece. And if we can get people vaccinated, you're not going to end up as one of the ones who's so sick that you're in the hospital. So really these vaccines work. and trying to share with parents, why it's important for them, why it's important for their child who's age 12 and up to get vaccinated now. And if you have younger ones, you kind of help bubble and insulate them in by having more vaccinated people around them. So for every phone call that I am getting this weekend, I will, openly ask families, like if you're calling me with symptoms, I ask about vaccine status in your home and take that as an opportunity that if you're not yet vaccinated, I will tell you how to sign up in the state of California. You go to myturn.ca.gov. And if you haven't had a chance to talk to your doctor and you have questions, call them. Like, we want to help you and understand. And I know there's a lot of misinformation. Hold on, babes. There's misinformation, there's disinformation. Like, there's so much craziness out there that, like, if you feel confused, talk to your trusted doctor so that we can help you. Like, we're here, we care, and we just want to keep you healthy. Like, that's the goal. Like, stay safe and be well. Like, please, like, know that doctors like it when our patients are healthy and well and able to do the things that they want to do. And as a pediatrician, like, I want kids to be able to be in school, and we got to do this safely. So I talk a lot about vaccine and wearing your mask and washing your hands, and I will continue to talk about those things so that we can keep everybody safe.
Awesome. All right. So we've been on for an hour, so let's do this so that we can wrap it up. But what I would like for you to do is to first tell me why someone should do your job. What do you say to them if they are thinking about becoming a doctor? Why should they do your job? And then how can we follow the rest of your reign so we can be able to get in contact with you if we want to? So Michelle, are you ready?
I guess so.
All right, let's go.
My job is incredible because I get to take care of all types of patients, and it's very rewarding for me that I get to take care of kids, see babies being born, take care of very elderly people. If somebody, like, if I see Sequita's patient who's 100, my care is going to be a little bit different, but it's such an honor what I get to do. It's so fulfilling. My patients are so frightened, and I get to be there for them. So when I go home at the end of the day, I have such fulfillment in my heart. And my motto is just be kind. So I try to just treat everybody the way I would want to be treated. And for somebody who loves science and pharmacology and doing things with their hands, they have to do a lot of procedures. It really is a beautiful melding of science and art. So I highly recommend my specialty.
Awesome. All right. And how do we follow you?
I am Dr. Model Mom on Instagram, and a lot of my Facebook posts, Michelle Bokek, if it's scientific, I often make it public so people can share it, and anybody who lands on my page can see it, or the Dr. USA Facebook page as well. I put some stuff there.
Awesome. So. All right. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Michelle Lynam, Dr. USA.
Thank you. Wonderful, Stacy.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. All right. And Dr. Sequita. Dr. Richardson, sorry.
I will give you permission to call me.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, family practice is great. If you're like me and you're like, I want a little bit of everything. I want a little spice of life. I want to be able to know families and see people grow up, and people grow with you, and people be healthy with you. That is the field that you should consider. So I do highly recommend it. I am happy with my choice, and I would make it again. I know some days I say I wouldn't, but I would actually make it again. as I think about, the answers that I'm going to give, and, we have to tell others about our fields. I thought about, just the patients I've seen, and like the 4 generations, and just like that is really a blessing to have somebody put their trust in you for the majority of their life for their health care. It really is an honor, so yeah, I love it. I think that we do need more people in primary care, and feel free to follow me and ask questions at DOC_Q like Queen T Richardson. That is my Instagram. I'd be happy to friend you and talk to you a little bit more about family practice.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think I will tag everybody when we share this as well. Everybody, I think everybody's tagged it, but I will go back and tag everybody as well. All right, Dr. Hailey Nelson.
Dr. Hailey Nelson with Daphne, my 2.5-year-old. To say pediatrics is the most fun. It's a great field if you are a big kid yourself. So one of the things in med school, they talk about deciding, surgery or not surgery, and then do you want to big people, little people, like kids are fun. They keep it entertaining and lively. I love getting to see them grow up. The fact that I can really join a family. And it is an honor and a privilege to be someone's pediatrician because they're trusting you with the care of their child who, is their most precious thing in their life. So you really are welcomed in and a partner on that team for the family. And so I, can say nothing but good things about what I chose, but I think you also, for those out there trying to decide medicine, like finding your people. And when I surround myself by other pediatricians, I'm like, yep, this is my team. This is where I'm meant to be. And so hopefully, if you are interested in medicine, that you find your passion, whatever that might be. So, and then where to follow me. So like I said, I've been doing a lot of media things lately. I love getting to share what I'm up to. So as soon as I have an interview, I make sure to repost, tag things. So I am Dr. Hailey Nelson. I've got a professional Facebook page as well as Instagram account so that I can share all good things from the COVID interviews to some pageantry pictures. It's a good mixture of stuff. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. All right, you guys are fantastic. Our director says, I love hearing all about your pageant journeys. I love hearing Dr. Michelle, is it Vocock? Lynam, influenced Dr. Hailey to join Dr. World Productions. So, and for anybody, I just want to thank all of you for being here. It's been wonderful. I had fun. I hope you guys had fun. I know this was, actually your ideas, and I'm just here to kind of moderate. But I had a blast, and I think it was great getting to know you all better and getting to know your families a little bit too. So, hi, Valentina. She's so cute. Oh my God, I love it. All right. I am going to if you guys can do me a favor, I'm going to wrap up the show. But I'm going to put you guys off and just stay in the green room while I wrap up. And then I will be with you guys in just a second. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you would like to become one of the doctors in Dr. World Productions, we have just a couple more days. September 1st is the deadline to be able to sign up to be part of Dr. America, Dr. USA, or Dr. World. You can compete for all three of those titles depending on your age and depending on where you live. You go to drworldproductions.com to be able to get all of that information. You can also message me at PageantryNOW. What is that? Oh, thank you very much, Diana. I love you. That is our fantastic director. So you can always look for Diana Lawrence on Facebook as well. And then message her, message me, message one of the queens. If you're interested, we would love to have you. And let's say maybe you're not ready to compete September 1st. We totally understand that. But you can always get more information for next year. So if you have a doctor, it doesn't have to be MD. It can be PhD as well. We would love to have you. And if you don't, you can compete for my title, which is Ms. Achievement World or Ms. Achievement USA, depending on where you live and what you would like to do. But it's all about being who you are and because smart is beautiful. Oh, I probably should have said that. Hold on, ladies, come back. Let's say it all together. Put your microphones on. Get the children with us.
Let me get Daphne. She's really good at this.
Practicing. Everybody?
Nope. Okay.
Because
smart is
beautiful. Oh my gosh. And then my phone rings. Oh my gosh. Because smart is beautiful. You guys are amazing. I love all of you. Thanks for being here. We will see you. What are you doing, Valentina? We will see you next time. And that's a wrap, everybody.
Get up.